value also in the chain. Like it just doesn't equal out Xbox. I understand we're early, but there should be at least 3-4 times more right now. There should
No,
be.
100% there should be. When you took in 1.6, at least 1.6 billion for between Pulse and Pulsex sacrifices, right? So that's a 20x on the amount of money that's bridged in right now. So yeah, no, it's abysmal in my opinion.
We also got to look at how much Pulse flew through because it's scary, man. It's scary to know that on the daily it's happened. Okay, it's not like the money's on the sideline. You understand? Like on ETH right now, yes, there's 2.8% of the supply and liquidity, but the money's on the sideline. You get what I mean? Like there's money on the side.
Do you think Pulsechain's a rug famous?
No, the rug has nothing. Clearly, it's not a rug. Clearly, it's not a rug because the only thing supplying us is the V1. Like it's all the numbers. And to me, that it's like, well, how many people are in this V1? A lot of people need to be very benevolent to put $100 million and only have 20 in V2, where everyone's supposed to be profiting from. Like everyone is pissed, but yet everything is on V1. And to me, it just it's like there's like I'm at the board right now and I'm just discussing with everyone and it just doesn't make sense. It's like where are the numbers just don't add up to me. I need to understand. And the only thing I can't find, going to take a long time to find this out, is going to be 200 days of knowing where all the money went. We need to know. Is it sacrificers? Is it people that...
What do you want to know, Famous? You need some chain analysis? What exactly?
Yeah, from the bridge, I need to know
what do you
how
got?
much of that 600 million was taken out by people that are regulars in this ecosystem.
Yeah.
And if
It
it's
was taken by people like Gary Woods and that. Let's be honest, dude. Let's be honest.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, it's the
Hello.
whales.
Hello. No more of that. You will be kicked out of the room next time.
Shut
And
the
has
heck,
his
live.
hand up.
Cleo, you got to read the memo, Cleo, or we're kicking you out. Just next time, read the memo first.
But I just at least need a majority. I personally need to know that a majority of the money, a good amount of that 500, that 600 million, is at least with people. Like if it's not benevolent beings that had put it in, right, and then took it out, that is even more scary because that means that's our money and our money got taken out without us taking it out, right? We didn't take it out unless we did, but I would need to see, like, is there
but smart money sold
40% of it?
on
Is
everyone's
it
heads.
you know what I mean? Is it dumping from whales that like Hexfunks is saying are still in the profits, or and that they're just taking the liquid and they're holding it where they think is valuable because they have experience? Like for myself, I would like there's nothing for me to worry about with the bridge right now, but has someone found something with the bridge? Has someone found something that says, like, I don't see what the problem is holding ETH here or ETH there. I still have ETH. The bridge will still give me the ETH that I hold because it backs it. So whether I have the ETH on ETH or whether I have the ETH here, I actually have the potential of it only going higher. Because even if Pulsechain, the peg of the ETH leaves, well, as long as I can bring it to the other side and there's that 1-to-1 ratio, almost 1-to-1, I'm okay, right? I'm actually doing a service by like right now, a lot of Hexikins, if they were to go and sell their Pulse and hold the asset that's the value in the system, and we hold it in the system, we could probably run through this like storm. But if we're not the ones taking a hold of the value, then are the people just going to ETH and holding it? That's what I need to know. But it's harder than just saying, hey, knock knock, hey man, are you holding the money for us or not? But there would be at least some evidence of, oh, this guy stakes, or this guy does this, or this guy provides liquidity here. It's not just money that says he got an airdrop and just took it out. He just did an airdrop, swapped it a bit, and took it out. Like, I can't just have that. And then you see, oh, well, this guy just took the money and went and provided liquidity for Shiba and hasn't done anything since. Well, you could tell that was an extraction. If you could see the money going from ETH and then moving to Binance, well, that was an extraction.
Yeah, I feel you. And
you know what I mean?
For sure. I'm not, it does hurt. And like the people that are getting squeezed right now.
But it wouldn't hurt if we know, like, oh, guys, 300.
You're never going
like,
to know.
if there was like 200 million or with the OA addresses. You know, like if it says like, oh shit, 250 of the 600 is actually with these type of addresses that are maybe rumored to be daughter addresses that held this
Yeah,
much X and did this at that, you know, like
yeah, they're good actors versus bad actors.
then that the FUD with that would be like that's just better numbers for
A
us.
lot of people cashed out though, man. It's
I
been
agree.
years.
I understand.
People are squished. They got mortgages. They got this and that. I worked 2 jobs for like 4 years. Like people are squished
Man,
and selling their bags, man. I know, maybe not whales, but other people that are that they need to sell to support their families. And that's just the medium people, not the whales, the medium to whatever, medium large people or whatever. And then the whales are the smart money, man. They're looking at, they sold 3 months ago, and they've been selling.
yeah, but you see there that too doesn't make sense to me because there was 250 million by the 100. You understand? It was
Over
in
the
the
bridge.
bridge, like
What do you,
in the bridge. If you go look at the outflow and inflow, and we minus it, it was about maybe 200. Like it's just that I can't really see on that graph on Dune. Like it makes it look like it's the same length, but then as I go through the wave, it shows me different values, and like the highest I could have seen was like 500 and something
yeah.
million, and
And
the
you'll get a
outflow
warm
was
feeling or a bad feeling from that analysis. The only thing I know to do is you follow wallets that you think are smart, and then you kind of see if your, logic is lining up with, these handful of wallets that you believe are smart. And it's super subjective, and it's a lot. It's not all just hardcore analysis. It's a
man.
little quirky.
It's there's analysis. This stati- man, I can't even fucking say this every time. Statistical analysis has different levels of quote unquote purity, let's say, right? Or preciseness, right? You could be very precise in the statistic. If you have very precise statistics, you can assume things differently. But if I were to assume the basics, average of 3 million per day, if it, because it did that, because every day was always positive, right? Because there was money in the chain. There was never no money in the chain. So every day was positive. But the thing is that where is all the money going from? Where is it going to? I understand it came in, but did it come in and then just came back out? Because that's like you can assume that like, hey, most of these wallets that put in didn't take out. You could see that it's an in and an out. If you see an in and an out, then you have to calculate, okay, how much is this person in and out? And then you got to look at these big. It's either there's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people that did 1,000 each, or there's going to be 50 people that have that whole 3 million. That's the only, that's either or. It's not going to be in the middle. I don't believe it will be. We're not that great to have that much of a middle mean. I think the average is going to be either a small number or it's going to be a big number. If it's a big number, then what you were saying, Paul, makes sense. People come in, people come out all the time. People needed to use the bridge, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. But we're still talking about millions of dollars. You know what I mean? So usually it's not, we're not 50,000 people. We're maybe 10, right? And if we're 10, and if it's 3 million a day, it's 30 grand each on average. I don't think people have 30 grand on average, because if you go look at the sacrificer set, they only sacrificed that much. So it's either they had more or less. So the way I see it is most of the people should have taken out because they're most of the money, right? Because there's most of the wallets have only this much. So the number would either be a lot or little. If it's little, then we know we got extracted because it's the big boys extracting. If it's big, well then, if the unique address amount of people that are taking out of the bridge compared to those putting in, then yeah, we can assume like, okay, everyone's taking profits. But then if it's less amount of wallets pulling out than have put in, you got extract. There's a lot of ways of assuming things, right? And there's always, it's like a Sudoku. So like at one point we can assume and we'll have the right answer. But I can assume so much, but there's very little that makes me assume positively. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say?
I feel you, dude. It don't feel it hurts right now. I'm about to DCA again, but I'm just like that. I do boring strategies almost no matter what analysis is done, because I there's so much you don't know. Like, say you find out all your answers, right? Like, say
I
you
agree.
found out good or bad, you found that out. Like, what's the actionable thing? If it's good, you buy more. If it's bad, you buy less. You sell. If it's, I'm not even if I did my analysis and I thought I was right and it was bad, I guess I'm too deep. I'm like, I'm in it, dude. I'm rolling with it. I think the ecosystem's awesome. I think there's tons of good projects. I still
But
trust Richard. So those are kind of my tenets, but that might be my delusion too. That's where my
I know, man. But
analytical
if you have
side's
a
not there.
the way I see it is, if I have a business and my manager is a nice guy, but he's getting robbed, at some point, I don't care if he's a nice guy or not. At
Right.
some point,
Oh
it's, bro, you're
yeah.
getting robbed from,
Yeah. Who
and
knows?
we
Yeah.
so there so I agree with you. It's there's nothing we cannot cry over spilled milk, right? But there are solutions, right? So it's either we're getting extracted or we're not. If we're getting extracted, the easy solution is dump the fucking price and hold the valuable things.
Yeah. I mean, I have
Everyone
to
do
say
that.
I've been buying ETH more lately.
Everyone do that. If literally we find out that somehow, some way, we're still getting extracted, the easy solution is dump the price and hold the value. That's it. We have to do that. It's the only way we will survive this, if we're getting extracted. If we're getting extracted. And I know it's hard to hear it, because it's like, well, like, why famous, man? You're just a druggie. Like, what are you talking about? Well, no, it's the outcome. It's the best thing you could do is hold the money that they're taking
I'm
away.
not holding my breath. It
A
could be
hundred
6
percent
more
agree. I agree with
months.
a lot of people, but
It could be 6 more
if
months.
if
Yeah.
I
Could
know,
be.
but if it is that, we need to stop them from doing what they're doing, and the only way to stop that is to either yank the liquidity or to take it all.
Yeah, you can't really stop it. Yeah, people in position, the advantage is so much more when you're in position. That's what I believe. I think the people in position, if you have good positions and a good bucket of capital, you're protected in a lot of ways. And I mean, I know small ways to like fight against that, but it's not going to really, you're not going to win really. It just takes too much time, too much effort. It's not worth the hourly. And some, I guess, but I don't know. And this stuff I really am not super interested in, but I probably should be.
The Pulse chain is a brand new chain. It's barely 6 months old. What do you expect from a brand new chain? Has massive fluctuations in and out right in the beginning. Once it becomes a massive Goliath with trillions or billions of dollars in the ecosystem, there's not too much budging. So, microphone. I'd suggest that you guys just hold on as much as you can. That's it. Hold on. Diamond
I know, man. I know,
hands.
man. But it's just, I know, man. But there's always something to be done. I know diamond hands. Diamond hands means you don't cut out. But to me, if I were to, like, let me give you an example, okay? And it's not the person the problem, because it's maybe the way we're evaluating it, right? Maybe we're the problem, because to me, it's like, how can we, like if I were to tell you, I make $700,000, my expenses are 600, I only have 85K in the bank. Am I a millionaire?
No.
Not just times that by 1,000, and that's basically our situation. So like, I'm just I'm just saying, there's maybe, I don't want to say this to maybe be mean, but maybe just people are just not used to this, like, it's not everyone's job in life to be a business owner or an investor, right? Because technically right now we're all investors, right? Some of us, I understand, hex funks, artists and whatever, but we are investors when it comes to these assets. And it's a hard job, because not a lot of people do the job properly. But maybe we're just not doing the job properly, because on my end as an investor, I would be at the table saying, these numbers are not. They're not. I'm not putting this much. I'm putting less, because
So,
you know.
so let me interject. One comment I will always remember Richard Schuler saying, and that is this: the only people that make money in crypto are people that hold and founders. Richard Hart is a founder. The people of Liquid Loans are founders. They are the only people that have got rich. I think it's time to face up to the fact that everybody that isn't a founder is simply exit liquidity for the founder's richness. People are just very, very picky and selective of what they would like, of what they like to talk about with Richard Schuler. Sorry, people are very quick to make comments on comments that he's made, but they're very selective about them. Richard Schuler's a hypocrite, an extreme hypocrite. He has used us all as exit liquidity, as has the liquid loan
You can
side.
go and suck.
So no, it's okay.
I think in terms of the 82 million or 78 million number in terms of amount of money that's currently bridged in from Ethereum, it's also very deflated because the hex price is down astronomically. ETH hex, and I'm still a hex fan, believer, this and that, but just looking at the facts, right? Before Pulsechain launched, I'm looking at a weekly chart. Hex opened the week of May 8th at 6.5 cents, 6.5 cents, right? So we're down a lot from that, right? So if we were the total amount of hex bridged in from Ethereum right now is 11 million. So if we were a 12x, that would be roughly 130 million in addition. So we would have 200, whatever. So to me, I'm looking at it, and actually, I think it's very much deflated because the hex price is so down. But that still doesn't account for all the money that has left, which is, like Famous said earlier, $645 million has exited the chain, and like that's the point of the conversation. That's the whole reason he started the space, because we were talking in another space and that space rugged, and that's something that Famous has been talking about, and a bunch of us are just now sitting here and wondering, like, hey, we have 78 million bridged into this chain right now, and we have four SAC projects, the four main SAC projects, including Mintra, which Paul is part of Mintra, collected more than that, right? They collected more than that. So we're just sitting here and wondering, like, what's, kind of like what's going on. I understand DMF's point. It's early. We could look back on this time and be like, we were just really early and people didn't know what was going to happen. There was SEC, FUD, this and that. But at the same time, we should have an analysis of who are these people that are selling, because it's important to know so that we can, is it whales? Is it individuals is it people from Ethereum? Like, yeah, like if we're going to be users and coming here every day and devoting our time, energy, money, etc., then we should definitely know. And then second of all, Paul, I believe you guys are coming out with a block explorer, and if it's a block explorer, then I want to see like really cool information and graphs and stuff. Like what do you call it? Who's that guy? Arkham Intelligence. Like what? Like we gotta know what the hell's going on over here. Because otherwise we're swimming in a very dark place and we don't know what the hell is going on.
Whatsoever. I'm speaking respectfully, and I'm speaking politely, and I'm speaking honestly. But I got cut off by hex bunks. What I was saying is very simple. When I participated in the sacrifice, Richard Hart made a comment about 3 weeks after it was due in 2 weeks after. I then observed several conversations between different founders for protocols that were going to be launched on Pulsechain. I immediately knew, having heard some of them comments, that it was just one big ploy to take our money. And I have been fighting that narrative ever since. You don't need blockchain analysis. You don't need receipts for shit like this, dude. It just all they do and all they offer is what's the word? Validation to my claim. And
Yeah,
my
but
claim is this.
but explain to me, Cleo. These guys couldn't extract. They didn't extract the 500. They might have extracted what, the 10. It might have been 10 million, 20 million at most. That's been
But
extracted
but
by
ten
this.
or
Maybe.
but 10 million or 20 million, dude.
No,
It's,
man.
it's,
It's more. I need to know. I need to know where the other one. I need to know where the other 50x went.
well, it's going to
You
be
know what I mean?
somewhere, and it makes perfect sense because every single man and woman in crypto and in normal finances
Yeah, but that's
are
okay.
out.
We need to figure it out because
Yeah, yeah,
it might be certain individuals, and we'll know how to react with that. But
of
I think at the
course.
end Yeah, because the thing is that we can't expect to put more in. Like maybe, right? Obviously, the solution is to put more in, right? It's gonna come. It's gonna come. Okay, but if it comes, we
It's the
need to
founders,
understand:
dude.
is it really happening the way it's happening? Because the way it's looking for me, it's
It's,
being
it's,
held. It's being held by money that can't be touched right now. But
it's, it's,
the more now it's just getting easier for people to do what they want to do because the money that's left is all one person's money. That's how I see it. Because if it
yeah.
was all our money, it would be. I think the consequences of liquidity would be a bit. It would have caused them a lot more thinage. But
I, I,
With what Hex
I,
Funks was
I,
saying, like, Sir Cleo's just going in circles. Let's go to the next hands. You said Collector was next.
oh, I didn't even know you were in here. Here you go, sir.
oh, that's Hex Hangout. I'm not going in circles because the circle that I started traveling on in 2021
See,
hasn't yet
this is a circle
completed.
of the past. Let's
It's
look at the
it's not the
future and
past,
Yeah,
dude.
but
strategize.
Cleo. We have accepted that, but that is one way, right? What happens if it isn't? Okay, now what we're interested is right now is what are we in? What is the situation? Regardless of the situation of what, I don't care about the bigger picture. I care about the smaller picture because the smaller picture is us, and the smaller picture needs to reassess its evaluation and reassess its way of moving, and we need to reassess how we speak and all that shit. So I think we might need to just do a bit more research, right? Because I don't like assuming, right? Because we make an ass out of you and me by assuming. It's funny, eh? But the thing is that once we have that information, most of us, with our knowledge, our tools, we will definitely be able to understand more of what's happening. We might not know 100% of what happened, but even knowing 50% of it can give us a clearer picture of what's going to happen in the future if we act a certain way. Now, I think the easy solution is for us to maintain value, but are we maintaining value? You see, the Tang Gang, little you guys know, we've done a lot of education, and what comes with this type of education that we've created is a lot of research and an extensive amount of results and consequences. And the consequences we've realized is when people understand the capability of liquidity, there is no out because the way in is the way to make money. So if the way to make money always starts with the way in, then it doesn't matter if there's a way out. There's always a way in. And we've understood that the liquidity is one of the most essential needs for value, right? Value has nothing to do with price. Your price is a consequence of a mathematical equation. Excuse me for my language. I know it's complicated, but at the end of the day, all to say is that there is consequences to our actions that we've done in 200 days. And I think the next 100 or 200 days can be very beneficial for us if we act in a very smart and educated and hands-on approach where we understand what has happened and what needs to be done and what is our goal as a community. Because this kumbaya-ness of price just goes up, well, no shit, I don't want price to go down, I want price to go up. But how do you bring it up, right? If everyone is just diamond hands, this is not going to go up, right? We need to figure out what's happening because yes, okay, we've had an inflow of positive every day for the last 2 years, but why are we at this point? Why isn't it more? Why can't we do better? Why is the money sprinkled to our feet? It's very important, and there are people always hired for businesses that say, hey, this is my situation, how can I make more? And that's what I almost became, but I don't want to do that because I don't work for no one anymore. But I can help you guys understand the statistics and say, okay, well, if this is the situation, then how can we fix it for the next year coming? It's called an actuary. And especially in computational science, we have all these tools to then get the answers. And we need to get it. And we can't just stand here and point fingers and say, you did it. No, we need to know if he did it. We need to know if it's this. We need to know if we need to. Because this is how you maintain your investment as a crypto person.
He did dox his addresses. I don't know. I can't really track back when he doxed it, but people put it up there. There's actually, I think there's 3 addresses on there. He probably has more, but anyway,
Yeah, I
everybody
mean, he
knows he
never
sold all
denied
his
it. He never
Pulsex.
denied it. So, I mean, I imagine if you
The
got
fun
called out
part
like
is he
that, you would have
nuked.
denied it, So, yeah.
Yeah. They'll call you a troll, and it's like, well, the funny part is he nuked his Pulse because his Pulsex. We already knew he nuked that in like July or something when he got real sour towards Richard Hart with the V1, V2s. Yeah, that's when he nuked his Pulsex. And that was a big chunk. And he nuked it when the price was a lot higher. So you could say he did good, but he dumped it on his community and didn't support it, right? So don't pretend to be a leader. You know, you did a good financial move, but that doesn't make you an upstanding diplomat for the community. I think one of the funniest parts is when they keep saying we're in the bear market. It's like, you guys are creating a hex bear market. We're actually in a bull market. We've been in one for over a year now. So
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin went from 16K to 44 almost thousand.
oh,
You know,
this
so
is this is such a hard bear market. It's so long. Once we get out of this bear market, everything's gonna be good. And it's like, okay, maybe, maybe not. Eventually, I think Hex will do good, but you guys are gonna all have to sell because you're creating the longest bear market. You're creating a longer bear market for Hex than people have seen in like Bitcoin or ETH. So it's pretty unfortunate, but yeah, we can do this for another year. That's why I'm slow buying. You know, you don't see my $5,000 buys in the chart. You see my $100 nibbles because yeah, we could do this for a while. And the other thing is, Pulse is also, you know, you getting pulses at the same level as everybody else right now. So it is pretty important to stack pulse because unlike Hex, which is up from the worst case scenario, plus you have plus big beta, you know, so somebody could dump 50x on you. On pulse, not so much. If they sell, they lose, right? For the most part. So that's why I've, you know, kind of worked a little more on the pulse side for myself. You know, it's like at least you know, okay, they're losing if they sell. I think that's why Gary sold his pulse at the bottom here because he got scared because he was breaking even on pulse. Probably get spooked about the SEC or something like, oh no, I'm breaking even. What if these people hate Richard Hart? Come on, they don't do anything that he taught about.
can we speculate on when he sold it? Do you know the exact date? Because I know he was recently at Art Basel and he spoke to some influencers, and they were very concerned about. There's no, well, not influencers, just some rich dudes that he was trying to onboard, and he was concerned about, you know, all the money's not on Chain. It's all on, you know, the money was extracted from Chain. There's not
Yeah, he
money,
went
much money
into
on
ETH.
chain. And then did he sell it right after that?
It
Like,
was
was it
only
like
like a
the
week.
last
It
week?
was about, yeah, like 10 days ago he sold his pulse, I think. So that's pretty close to then. Hexen said he went into ETH, so he's a ETH maxi now. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care what he does with his bag. I mean,
No, yeah,
he could, you know, that's the thing. Like, these people can always come back whenever, lower, higher, who gives a fuck? But yeah, hopefully they do come back, right? We need, we need people, maybe.
but I mean, some of the reason why I put up some of those posts is because when they do come back and try to pretend like they've been good the whole time, it's like, yeah, he already left once and he came back